or a cube. And to find the volume of the cube, it was really easy. All we did was we took the length times the width times the height, right? So length times width times height, and that gave us our volume for a rectangular prism. So something that looks like a box. That one was really simple, right? We just multiply the three numbers times each other, and then you get your volume of a rectangular prism. We also learned yesterday about volume of all other prisms. So that means any other prism that wasn't a rectangle at the bottom. So that could be a triangle at the bottom. That could be a hexagon at the bottom. What you had to do for those problems was find the area of the base, whatever the shape was at the bottom. We had to find that individual area and then multiply by the height of the whole prism. So we did a couple triangular prisms yesterday, finding the area of the triangle at the bottom and then multiplying times the height of the whole prism. So that was question 3 and 4. And then we also finished question, my number 7's not there, but we finished question number 6 and 7, which was cylinders, area of a cylinder. And again, it was the same idea. You found the area of the circle at the bottom, and then you multiplied it times the height of the cylinder. So today we're going to finish up our notes with those application questions, right? So taking the knowledge that we learned yesterday and applying it to a word problem. We'll finish those 2 problems there, and then we're going to do some practice afterwards, finding volume of different prisms. So we're going to jump right into question number 8, which is, I believe, where we stopped yesterday, right? We were in the middle of it when the bell rang. So question number 8 says, a cylinder with a 2-centimeter diameter is drilled through the triangular prism shown on the left. Find the volume of the prism. So we had a triangular prism, and we took that prism, we drilled a cylinder hole into it. So what we have to do is we have to take the volume of the whole prism and then subtract the volume of the cylinder that we're going to take out of the prism. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to take the volume of the prism and we're going to subtract the volume of the cylinder. And that'll give me what's left over in my picture. Volume of the prism minus, we take the cylinder out of it. Okay, so we started the prism. We did not finish the prism, it looks like. To find the volume of a prism, you have to find the area of the base, and my base shape was a triangle. So we have to find the area of the triangle and then multiply it times the height of the prism. So we started with the area of the triangle at the bottom. The base of the triangle at the bottom was 5. The height of the triangle at the bottom was also 5. So it's the 2 numbers that go along with the 90 degrees. We multiplied those 2 numbers and divided by 2. So 5 times 5 gave me 25. I divided by 2, I got 12.5. That was the area of the, here it is, just the triangle. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's the area of just the triangle right here. That's this piece. Right, so it's not the whole thing. It's just, if I had my prism, it's just this bottom piece at the bottom, right? It's just the triangle at the bottom. I now have to take that bottom triangle and multiply it times the height of the prism. Now, the height of the prism is the line that connects the 2 triangles together. What's the height of your prism? 14 centimeters. Good. It's the one that connects your 2 triangles. So your height is 14. So your final step is you're going to take the area of the base, this triangle, you're going to take the 12.5 And you're going to multiply that by what?
14.
14, the height. Yep. So we'll multiply those two and we'll get the volume of the prism.
175.
Beautiful. So the volume of my prism is 175 what? Centimeters cubed. Good. So any volume is always cubed. Good. So we've got the first part done. We've got the volume of my prism. Now I have to find the volume of the cylinder, the piece that I'm taking out from the inside. So you can kind of see this is the cylinder here on the inside, right? That's the empty space. I want to take that empty space away. So I'm going to figure out what that empty space is, and then I'm going to subtract it. Okay, so that's the first part. We did the volume of the prism. Now we're going to do the volume of the cylinder. Okay, how do I find the volume of a cylinder? So maybe look back on your paper. Look right above. What's the formula for volume of a cylinder?
V equals pi r squared.
Pi r squared h. Good. Pi times radius squared times the height. Pi r squared h. Now, looking at that picture of the cylinder, does this picture label anything for you on that cylinder? Do you know what the radius is of that cylinder by looking at that picture? Yes, no? Maybe so? Do you see anything marked for you in the picture there?
7.1.
Well, 7.1, that's a good try, but 7.1 is this whole length right here. It's not just the little piece of the cylinder. So I need something to be marked just in the little cylinder piece. Okay, there's nothing here, but what's the first sentence say? A 2 centimeter diameter. What's diameter? It's the whole thing. Diameter means from one end of the circle to the other end of the circle, right? Diameter is the whole length across. What would the radius be? Radius is half of it, so the radius is 1. Half of 2 is 1. So your radius that you're going to plug in is 1. Look how easy that is. Right, so your diameter was 2, so your radius is 1. Okay, great. There's the radius. Now I just need to plug in the height. What's the height of the cylinder? Yeah, it's the exact same height as the prism because I'm drilling it out of the prism, so it's the same height. So my height is 14. And now this just becomes a problem for your calculator. Now, let's think about this for a second, friends. What's 1 squared? That means 1 times 1. Oh, it's 1. What's 1 times 14? 14. So this whole thing right here, I can reduce to just be a 14. So your exact answer is pi times 14. But your approximate answer, you're going to have to put that into your calculator. Do you remember how to put it in your calculator? Maybe? No? So when you go to put it in your calculator, you're going to push pi times 14 equals. The pi button is at the bottom. It's this EXP right here. So push it, pi 43.98. Perfect. Good, that's the volume of the cylinder. Did anybody not get 43.98?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
I don't know if it's not working, but it just said 14.
You push equals afterwards.
I did.
Okay, so try it one more time. So push EXP first.
14
Times 14.
times 14.
Yep. So you got to make sure you push the times button, right? The multiply, because if you don't push multiply, your calculator's going to get stuck on 14, and it's like 14 equals 14, 14, 14, 14. And you're like, what the heck, right? So you have to make sure you push the multiplication button. Okay, so the volume of the cylinder is 43.98 centimeters cubed. We could have rounded it to, well, we can round it to 44 if you want. I don't care what we round it to. 43.9 is essentially 44. Let's do 44 because, hey, that's a whole number. And I like whole numbers personally. Okay, so now you figured out the volume of the, this, right? The volume of the actual prism was 175. The volume of the cylinder that we drilled out of it was 44. So what do I have to do now with those two numbers?
Subtract 175.
Good. Subtract the two numbers, right? Because you've got your whole thing minus what you're taking out, the cylinder. So my final step is to take the volume of the prism minus the volume of the cylinder. So 175 minus 44. You get 131 centimeters cubed.
With the master bracket or that one?
Yeah. Okay, 131 centimeters cubed. All right, what questions can I answer for you? How do you feel so far? Good, bad, different? Not a single question? I must be a great teacher. Okay, wonderful. Clearly, must be. All right, number nine. Okay. A diagram of Miss Tomasso's pool is shown on the left. She plans to fill her pool to a depth of 4 feet with a garden hose that has an 80-foot cubed per hour flow rate. How many hours will it take to fill the pool? All right, so here's Miss Tomasso's pool. Beautiful. Here I am. Gorgeous. Okay, I'm ready to get into the pool. What shape is that pool? A cylinder. Okay. Now, we know it's a cylinder, which means we're going to use what formula? Pi r squared h, right? So the volume is going to be pi r squared h. Now, I need to fill in the information that I know. Am I given the radius? No, I'm not. What am I given? I'm given the base, the full base, which is diameter, right? So the diameter is 27. How do I figure out what the radius is? What? Divided by 2. Good. So the diameter is 27. My radius will be 27 divided by 2, which is 13.5. Okay, great. Now I've got my radius. Fabulous. What's the only other thing I need? The height. Yeah, what's the height? No. Good attempt. It's not 4.5. Why not? Read the question again. How much do I want to fill my pool?
4 feet.
4 feet. Right, so think about it logically for a second, right? If I fill my pool up to 4.5 to the very top, that means as soon as I get into my pool, water is going to overflow. I don't want that, right? So I'm not filling up my pool the whole way. I don't want to waste water. I'm only filling up my pool to 4 feet. So your height is not 4.5. Your height is only 4 feet. Okay, so that was a little trick, Make sure you read the question, because if you put 4.5, you're going to get it wrong. All right, so let's just plug in our numbers. So 4 feet was my height. So my volume is pi times my radius squared is 13.5 squared times my height, which is 4. Okay, so all you have to do is take those numbers and put them into your calculator. All right, I'm gonna let you do it. We'll see if we get the same answer. Put them in your calculator, see what you get. I'll only take a turn. All right, what number did you get for your volume? What'd you get? It's pretty big. It's a pool, right? It's a pool, so it should be a big number. It's a lot of water that a pool can hold. What'd you get? Anyone? What did you get? Did you get 2,290? Okay, 2,290.2 feet cubed for volume, feet cubed. Good, fantastic. So you figured out the volume of the pool. Are you done? No, why not? Why would I do that, Jaden? So the question says, how many hours will it take to fill the pool? I don't want to just know what the volume is of the pool. I want to know how long is it going to take me to fill it. Now, I know that my hose fills the pool at 80 feet in 1 hour. So in 1 hour, I do 80 feet. I want to know how many hours does it take me to do 2,290 feet. Probably going to be a very long time, right? So I'm going to take my amount, 2,290.2, and I'm going to divide it by 80 feet per 1 hour. That's going to give me how many hours it takes me to fill the pool. Okay, and you get what? About 28.6 hours. And notice that we even write down hours, right? We label everything in math. So it's going to take me more than a day to fill up a pool with a hose, which probably makes sense. It'd take a very long time to do that. All right, now what questions can I answer? Still no questions. Are you sure? Okay, then the last question we have to answer is number 5. Go back to the front, number 5. Okay, now we did not finish number 5, and I'm going to ask that you really pay attention to this one. This is like the most involved question, okay? Number 5, I want to find the volume of that prism. What kind of prism is number 5? Triangular prism. Okay. So that means the base of my prism is what shape? A triangle. So highlight or color in one of your triangles. And I don't care which one it is, but you're going to color in one of your bases. Okay. Now, to make my life a little bit easier, because I'm missing some of the numbers on this triangle, off to the side where you've got a little bit of space, I'm going to redraw this triangle and I'm going to label all the pieces that I know. Okay, so I already know the height of this triangle. What's the height of this triangle? 28. I also know what other part of the triangle. What other number do you have on that triangle? 32.5 is this slanted piece over here, right? Okay. Now, I know for a triangular prism, to find the volume of the prism, I'm going to have to take the area of the base times the height. So that means, here's my triangular prism. I'm going to find the area of the triangle at the bottom, and then I'm going to multiply it times the height, and that'll give me my triangular prism. So I have to start by just finding the area of the triangle. Now, how do you find the area of a triangle? What's the formula to find area of a triangle? Look right above. We've been doing this whole time. How do you find it? What? That's for volume. How do I find just the area of a regular 2D triangle? 1/2 base times height. Good. Or base times height divided by 2. Okay. Base times height divided by 2. Now, looking at this triangle, what would be the base of that triangle? Bless you. What's the base of that triangle? Do you know the base of the triangle? Okay, what's the height of the triangle? 28 is the height. This number is the height. Where is the base located? Oh, 32 is not the base. 31 is not the base. 31 doesn't go along with that highlighted triangle. Base would be at the bottom of the right triangle. Now, do you have a number there? There's no number there. That means I have to figure out what that number is before I can do the volume. So this number is your base. I don't know what it is. I have to figure it out before I can figure out the volume. So this is like a two-step problem. First, I have to find the base before I can find the area of the base. Oh my gosh. So now, this is a right triangle. We know a theorem that helps me solve for the unknown side lengths of a right triangle. Do you remember what that theorem is? I'll give you a hint. I taught it to you first quarter. It's called the Pythagorean Theorem. Do you remember what that is? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Is that ringing a bell? Lie to me. Say yes. Yeah. Okay, great. Good. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. This is the Pythagorean theorem, and I use it to find an unknown side length in a right triangle. Now, A and B are the legs. C is your hypotenuse. Legs. This is your hypotenuse. Okay, which number is your hypotenuse? 32.5. Good, it's the number across from the 90. So I'm going to put in my 28 as either my A or my B. I'm going to put it as my A so then I can solve for B, which is my base. Makes sense? So I'm going to do 28 squared plus B squared equals 32.5 squared. So 2 legs squared added together equals the hypotenuse squared. Now, if this is an algebra problem, what should I do first? Algebra problem, what's the first thing I should do? Order of operation tells me I should do parentheses. Are there parentheses? No. Exponents, are there exponents? Yeah, these little 2's are exponents. So we're going to put these into our calculator. 28 squared is 784. 32.5 squared is a big number. 1056.25. Okay, now what should I do? This is an algebra problem. I want to get B by itself, so what should I move? Move the 784 over to the other side, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. I get B squared equals 272.25. And then I have one more step to get the B by itself. What's the last step? What's the opposite of squaring something? Remember how to get rid of squaring something? Square rooting it. Very nice. We're going to square root both sides. Okay, now if you're going to put this into your calculator, you'll put the number first. 272.25, so everybody put the number into your calculator first. And then if you're using the regular calculators, the right above x squared, you'll see just the opposite, which is square root. So you'll push shift x squared. So put the number first and then shift x squared. Or if you're using your phone, it's second x squared, I think. So you get the base of your triangle is 16.5. Yes. Yeah. So down here it's 16.5. So now, oh my goodness, that was a lot of work, but we're still not even done with the problem. All we've done there is solve for the side length. Now I need to use that number and plug it into the equation. So the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. We just figured out the base, which was 16.5, that's the base. Times the height of the triangle. We already know what's the height of the triangle. 28. We're going to multiply those two numbers, and then we're going to divide them by 2. So my area of the triangle is 231. So that is just the area of the triangle. Just that one piece. So we did all that work. We had our prism. all we've done so far is find the area at the bottom, the triangle. What do I still need to do with that area at the bottom? What's the last step so I can solve for my volume of the prism? What do I have to do with my big B now? I've got this number, area of the base. What do I have to do with it? Times it by the height of the prism. So my final step to find the volume is I'm going to take this area of the triangle, 231, and I need to multiply it times the height of the prism. Now, height of the prism is the line that connects the two triangles together. Right? The line that connects the two triangles together, that will be your overall height of the prism. What number connects the two triangles together?
31.
31. Good. So your height of the prism is 31. So to find the volume, I'm going to multiply 231 times 31. And so I get that my final volume is 7,161 kilometers cubed. And now I'm finally done. Whew. So that one by far was like the most involved because you had to find the base first before you could do anything. And so that's why I saved that one to be our last problem. I don't think it's hard, but I think it's just more involved than the other ones. Okay, what questions can I answer for you now? Seriously, not a single question? Okay, what about just in general? I want you to take a moment. I want you to look back at your paper. Is there a problem there that you don't understand something? Is there a question you have? So take a second, look back through your paper. Tell me, do you have any questions about any of it? Is there anything that confused you? Anything you missed? A note that you didn't get to write down? What do you think?
Yeah.
Which one? You mean the one that we literally just did?
No.
Which one?
This one is coming back.
The cylinder? What number cylinder?
Both.
Okay, so while some of us are finishing up that problem, all right, we've got, oh man, we've got about 10 minutes left. So here's my game plan for you.